Actually, so I wanted to ask you, we're talking about the fact that you've been living in Manchester for 14 years, which is quite a long time. And we I've talked about this with some friends of mine, this idea that, you know, a lot of like originators in house music have gone to play in Europe and have left America and found that they tour better over there. And I was wondering if you know, like, why do you think that is? Why do you think that, like, all these like house legends, like all these people have just gone over to Europe and it seems like
Well,
it works better. Yeah.
it's economics. When back in the day in the '80s, I remember there's this promoter called Ferdinand Spanner, and it costed like £30,000 to push a whole album in the
Hmm.
UK, right? While in the States, it was well over 200,000 per single. So in the States, record companies had a hard time understanding DJs. They didn't want, they don't do anything. They like wear dark glasses and they hide in the videos and they got no personality, right? Because DJs were the artists. And I
They
mean,
weren't the
rap
artist,
music.
but go ahead.
At one time, we were level with rap music, and the rappers like LL Cool J and Run DMC, they had personalities. They were artists. Yeah, I'm bad, right? So they actually did things in videos. While DJs, the original DJs got up there, they didn't really do anything. you know, so that was a problem. They could then we didn't have the stereotypical beautiful singers. A lot of our singers were kind of overweight. Not you, B, but other singers.
So
So they didn't want to. It was a matter of investing a lot of money.
Finnegan is a beautiful girl. Crystal Waters is
Yeah,
beautiful. Little Lewis was
Barbara Tucker's
Barbara
great,
Tucker.
but she's
Um,
sensational. Ultra Native was great
Alternate.
looking too.
Come on, man.
But I mean, in the beginning,
Well, you had Kim Mazel. I mean, yeah.
I'm gonna
Anyhow,
get in trouble here. I better stop.
yeah. Come on. No, but
But
basically, like even for me, um, one of the things is the house music uh, kind of still sort of remained a part of an underground culture in America, and
hmm.
then like in Europe and
Ooh.
places like that, you have house records going number one pop. The Daryl Pandy and Farley Jack Master Funk, Love Can't Turn Around, number one pop. Steve Silk Hurley, Jack Your Body, number one pop. 10 Cities, That's the Way Love Is, number 8 pop. Groups like Inner City, top 5 pop. Like, so a lot of these records were going pop. So it was cheaper. It's actually cheaper to stay in Europe. Like for me, every Thursday I was flying out to go to Europe almost every Thursday and flying back home like on a Monday. So what I did was at a certain point in time, I would stay in Europe for 2-3 months and perform, and it was easy to get on a Eurostar, pop over to France, get on a quick flight and pop to Germany as opposed to getting on an 8-hour plane ride every day. It was it was just, well, not every day, but every weekend. It was just it's just more economical not to be flying, and it was more economical for me for me at one point to have an apartment in Europe as opposed to me staying in a hotel every time I came over or hopping on a plane. It just made sense, and I actually could save money. And
made sense for your health too, because flying back and forth it takes a toll over time on your body.
Hmm.
So uh, the thing was, we had to get like a temporary, we'd get temporary places over here, and we'd hang here for a little while and fly to the rest of Europe from the UK. A couple of other times, I stayed in Croatia for a while, and I stayed in Germany for a while, but because it was close to the rest of Europe.
Hmm. I mean, do you guys find that even though there's this profound success in Europe and it's easy to stay there because there's so much high demand, did you guys ever wish that there was that level of demand in the States so that you could do the same thing, tour and all that? I mean, obviously the circumstances are not the same because of the way house music became so much more popular and more easily popular in Europe, but was there a part of you that wished it had that kind of level here? Because house music now is getting to that level, you know? I mean,
I mean,
it's different than it was, but it is much more popular in the States now.
part sometimes, but I mean, honestly, uh, I think from where I come from, I come from probably one of the roughest parts of the city of Chicago, and for me to even have experienced the success that I've had, going, like how many people that I grew up with can like say, "Hey, I was partying in Dubai several times. I've been to Australia. I've been on Top of the Pops in the UK. I've toured Germany, hit every city, been pretty much everywhere in the world. So on some levels, I'm thankful for what I have. Would I have liked to been a household name in America, selling out football stadiums and things like that? On some days, I do wish that we had experienced that level of success. But then on some days, uh, I'm thankful that I can, quote unquote, uh, have both the best of both worlds. I used to go to Europe and could be considered on some levels a pop star, but then I could come home and live a normal life. Everybody wants to be Michael Jackson, Prince, Madonna, George Michaels, but I remember, and I know this might sound funny, I remember at the height of one of my records being big. I remember being in a restroom, using the restroom, and a guy walked in the restroom and was like, "Oh my God, Byron Stingley," and he was handing me his pen like as I'm using the restroom, and I'm like, "Can you just wait? Like, give me like 1 or 2 minutes," and he's like, "No, I hold, you sign," and I was like, "No, just please just wait 1 second. I'll finish what I'm doing myself, and then I'll sign." And
That
but
happened to me every weekend.
that well, I'm going to leave that alone, Marshall. But he says that happens to him every weekend. But that's anyhow. It's a family program, so we're going to leave that alone. But moving right along. Um, Now you didn't make me forget what I was saying.
I call that a brain fart.
Oh, but what I'm saying is, yeah, if it was like that for me, I was like, wow, what is it like for somebody like Michael Jackson? What is it like for a Prince? And so, you go, Whitney Houston, and look at how their lives sort of turned. I mean, prematurely ended, or well, maybe not prematurely, but how their lives sort of kind of ended. So I'm thankful for the success we've had.
It's
Well,
pretty much
I can't speak for Marshall.
it's pretty much the same for me too. I like having a level of anonymity, being able to go places and nobody recognizes me, but at the same time being able to pull out a slight fame card when you need it. For instance,
Hmm.
one time I was with some of my friends, and I don't smoke anything, right? And they were all blowing weed smoke into my face and laughing, right? So
It's legal now, Marshall.
I get to Chicago, and the dog sniffed me out right at the
Mm.
in customs. And I'm like, oh well, oh, this is messed up, right? So they take me back, and the guy he starts taking out the rubber gloves. I said, "I'm Marshall Jefferson, Godfather of the house. I may move your butt." So it's good to be able to pull that out when in serious situations like that.
And he said, "You sign, I'll hold."